Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike coming at you with the weekly news in review for June the 1st. And, of course, there's always Transformers news every week in one way, shape, or form. Now, this week was really heavy in some other stuff like Marvel, some Gamerverse stuff that's going on there. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. There are a couple of things going on with Masters of the Universe, some key dates that we want to talk about and stuff like that. DC, of course, going out with a bang. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on with all of that stuff. And then Street Fighter pre-orders coming up. I think I've already got mine in at Tmnt, which is ShowZ store in a way. And then Star Wars is light on the news. So I've been holding on to, sitting on to some stuff, sort of news for Star Wars, and this is the perfect week for it. We'll talk about this and more coming up. Starting out with what is new at ShowZ store. Like always, this is the Legend Scale 3-inch tall Robo Toys RTO5 Transformers Beast Wars Black Beetle Tarantulas, and it looks good in both modes. And I just recently reviewed a Robot Toys Tigatron that looked pretty good. Funny thing is, didn't get a whole lot of views because not very many people on the channel collect Legends and Beast Wars, but it's still kind of fun to look at. We're going to look at one more of these later in the video. It's also up for pre-order. Joy Toy Warhammer 1/18 scale 40K Blood Angels Predator Annihilator with twin laser cannons. $1 down, $200 price point for this. Scaling wise is the 1/18th scale. If you're into this stuff, looks pretty cool. And this sort of blew me away. This is the Takara Tomy T-Spark Altered Nano NX Alt Frigade and AA Caliv box set. This looks like the Spiral Zone, Monoseed, or the Cycle. Only it transforms. So it's really interesting, Takara putting this out. Part of the T-Spark, but it's like, what is T-Spark really? What is Altered Nano? Well, it looks almost exactly like something that came out of Spiral Zone. I am definitely getting this, even though it is only the 3.75-inch scale. So it's kind of a 3.94 inches tall. It's due out in January of 2026. It is going to be about $170 for the set, coming with the figure and the cycle and a whole bunch of other stuff. $10 down. Of course, non-refundable deposit if you put it down, but I definitely put my deposit down. I'm looking forward to this. Now, this is also something arriving at ShowZ. I'm surprised how well priced it is, but it's the Kang Toys TA whatever Transage Blancade, and it is a 7-inch scale Insecticon-ish type of figure. Does look pretty cool overall. I will have one coming in to take a look at myself. And this is starting to show up. People are starting to make videos about it. It's showing up in places. So I'll probably have mine in about a week or two. But here is the alt mode. And so we're getting sort of deluxe Insecticons. These are definitely Kang Toys is stylized. It's not sticking to anything that was before, but it is really cool looking overall. So I've definitely got to get this. The purple color is striking. I look forward to taking a look at this guy. Now, sticking with Kang Toys, not to mess up anyone's mojo here because this is the Masterpiece segment, but it is sticking with Kang Toys. So this is the Transage CT Chow Pocket Series God set. So there's different colors and variations of this. So this is the red one that turns into a bull. Doesn't really transform so much as just kind of bend over on all fours and change the face. The head kind of goes in there, I think. Doesn't look like a real true transformation. There's a gold one. And these are minis. This is something new they're kind of getting into. And before we saw some kind of like non-color pictures, and this is what is going on with it. There's a whole lot more to it, I'm sure, than the 3 pictures that I got here, but this one here, Baby Tiger 01. Dreamstar Toys is putting out another one of their releases for their Devastator. This is the DST-02 and 3 Land Warrior, and this looks I think this looks pretty cool. Maybe it's just the photography of it and all. Maybe it's just the way they did it, but I think it looks pretty cool. And then we have the alt mode of it, and there's so many pictures of so much stuff that they've got going on here, but now I think that this will put them up to all of these components to get it to this. So this is what they've more or less been showing so far, and it's not fully built yet, but it is coming along, looking pretty good overall. I'm not in on this set. I cannot do 5 or 6 Devastators at once. Evidently, I can't even afford a Blokees Devastator. This is the Fans Hobby MB10 second study prototype. They've adjusted the overall scale after making balance of proportion and production cost. So I guess, did they make it smaller? Is that what it looks like? Sounds like what they did. But anyway, there it is. That's where they're at so far with the MB10 second study prototype. Toy Easy is out with yet another battleship. They call this one the 901 Integrated Supply Ship, and this is a test shot. And I gotta say, these do look really cool. And the thing about it is they're not all the same ship. They're all different ships. So if you get to looking at the ship mode, you notice the difference. But look at this bot and how it really does look like a bot, and it's got sort of some slim lines to it. It's kibbly, but not in a bad way. And then it turns into this really sleek ship, and it is a different style of ship than they've made before. It looks really cool, and overall, I haven't gotten any of these yet. I might end up picking one up down the road. Just in hindsight, which one do I like the most? It might be this one, actually. So we got Planet Mode pictures of the 01 Studio Seed Orange version, and it looks like I would expect. It almost looks halfway like a Unicron because of the coloration, in a way, but not really. It kind of looks like, is it a Cybertron? It looks good overall, and I also think I have an in-hand picture somewhere. So for those of us who actually already have a 01 Studio Unicron or something that was made, to get an idea of size and scale kind of versus maybe a HasLab, this is about how big it is, because the in-hand pictures really make a big difference. And any guesses on who this guy's favorite Transformer YouTuber is? You only get 3. That's 3 guesses. Alright, so next up, Big Mac is making that Fortress Maximus that is supposedly going to be 30 inches tall, and they're going to beat Fans Toys out. And, well, yeah, don't worry. If you get it out anytime this decade, you're going to beat Fans Toys. But there's some pictures I'm going to randomly just kind of throw up here so you can see parts and pieces. I don't even think I have the pictures in any sort of order at this point. Not a good thing. Should have had them in order, right? But it does kind of make you feel like, well, this really is going to happen. I've been hearing a lot of people say it's not going to happen. There's no way. It's just a hoax. It's just a joke or something like that, which I don't understand why people would be saying that kind of stuff. Why wouldn't it happen? It's like, this is what people do these days, right? They make these giant figures and combiners, and pretty good stuff going on there. But I'm actually curious about Cerebros. How big is Cerebros going to be? How is it going to stack up next to the Fans Toys one? So that, to me, is a big curious point. I kind of hope that we can see that pretty soon and get an idea of how big, because we know how big the figure's going to be, but how big will the actual Cerebros be? But I feel like this is really the real deal, and, well, I can't wait to see it show up and someone do a review on it. So there's a couple images of this XT01 TFP Optimus Prime modeling diagram, deluxe scale, height, movable joints, palm, alloy material, fine coating version. So when they say deluxe scale, I mean, that's ambiguous. Is it deluxe as in what Yellow Park calls deluxe at like 11, 15 inches in that range? Or is it deluxe as what Hasbro calls deluxe for about the 5.5 to 7 inch range, depending on the character? Now, with that, there's a lot of people are going to look at this and say, well, this has already been made a few times, it's Prime from this era, but what I've noticed is that there's 2 reasons why something gets made. Either someone's chasing money or someone's chasing a dream. Let's see which one this is. when it actually comes out. All right, so we got packaging designs for the two, was it Misfires? Misfires? The figures from Extransbots, and I think they both look pretty good. Pretty exciting release, and to say that you're going to be able to get this cheaper, brand new Masterpiece figure, cheaper than a secondary market Hasbro one, is saying a lot. It is quite interesting. But here's the other one. They call it Ballistic, Interceptor Ballistic, and I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with both versions. I don't know. For the price, if they're $100. If they're $100, I haven't seen the actual price on these yet, but for $100 each, I'd go with both. For like $130 or something, I'm probably going to have to pick one. Probably where I'm going to have to be with it. But they both look great and exciting. We're getting to the next step. They should be shipping relatively soon once they get this far. Yeah. Where's Galvatron and all the other Extransbots promises? It's the same thing. Where's all the Fans Toys promises? Where's the Extransbots promises? But Yellow Park, they're showing off the new AMK Pro series coming soon. This is the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, and it looks like a Bumblebee movie Soundwave. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into the Bumblebee movie stuff, but I'm going to pick and choose, and I think this is the perfect line to pick and choose. For $60, you get a pretty high-quality figure in this Pro Series, and it's dead-on representation, and yeah, it's nice. I haven't gone deep on anything Bumblebee movie yet, but I probably won't go deep on this either. Pick and choose my favorite characters. Alright, so we got some Blokees stuff going on here, and this is quite interesting because of the fact that this picture shows the different sizes and what's going on. So I'm brand new to Blokees, even though I kind of show pictures and talk about it. And this really does show the different offerings they have. So they have the bigger Soundwave here is the Action Edition Soundwave. Then the middle size one is the Galaxy version Soundwave, which I believe is what I have coming in. I'm not sure what I have coming in. I ordered some stuff. And then there's the Defender version, which is the smallest and most stylized versions of all of these. Anyhow, I like how this sums it up to give everybody an idea of what they're in for when they order the different versions and what they mean. Defender Galaxy and Action Edition. And we've got interesting pictures of Blokees, so this must be the Defender's size. Let me get back to that picture and check my reference. But these are looking pretty good. But this is the Devastator put together and how he compares with them, how he stacks up. For those who are lucky enough to get the combining parts, that's going to be pretty awesome to get it all together like that. But kind of fun there. More follow-up is that Hasbro considers combining parts as too close to transforming, and the license Bloke has is for non-transforming. Therefore, I did kind of hear a little bit about how you get it, and Ace from Ramen Toy explained it. I still don't 100% get it, but you order both sets that have the Devastator parts in it, the Devastator figures in vehicle mode, then you get a QR code that you scan and you go to a specific site, and with that, that's how you order it, but it only can go to a Chinese address. Henceforth, companies over there are doing this, like ShowZ and others that have the few sets that they got, had to go through all of that rigmarole to get it, and I was told by ShowZ it's like a crowdfund thing, is how they explained it to me, which still none of it makes sense, but that's why this stuff costs so much to get those parts. Now, I guess the Aldi stuff, which is sort of like the Blokees, but it's a little bit more, well, sticking to the G1 cartoon accurately. And it's going to come with some parts so that you could customize it, make it look good, and all that good stuff. And yeah, it looks pretty good. This is a really good looking Megatron, so I look forward to getting the Aldi stuff in eventually. Aldi. Alright, so earlier when I was talking about the ShowZ segment, this is the other figure up for pre-order at ShowZ, which is really funny because while I was filming my Robot Toys Tigatron video, I pulled out a Waspinator and questioned, will Waspinator get made? And then it's up for pre-order at the same time I was making that video. It was quite interesting, but of course, I did pre-order it because I think that Robo Toys is doing a great job with these figures, and that they look good, and that nobody else is going to do it. And that's that. And also, you kind of look back at what has been done, and they're not doing those right away. They're jumping on some figures that haven't been done, that have been severely neglected in the past. Waspinator is a good one. And yeah, I mean, when's the last time we saw Waspinator in either a Masterpiece scale or in a Legend scale? Is it never? Alright, so we got Laser Cat Toys JGM SKP03 Broody. And Broody, what does Broody mean? What does it mean by Broody? Any guesses? Any guesses? Come on. I know one of y'all can get it. Bruticus. And this is... so, I might even be using the term wrong, but this feels like what they call the chibi style. Chibi style. And I kind of like call it super deformed, but it's not really super deformed. And with that, I did get one of these figures that I think it's the Nemesis Prime, and it's interesting. I might go in on a combiner. Now, it's not the same company, but or is it the same company? Yeah, I think it might even be the same company. Yes, I might go in on one of these, but I haven't figured out which one yet. And with that, it looks very interesting, and the Nemesis Prime I got is very well made. It's a very solid figure. So you look at it and you think that this is not cheap junk. This is actually very well made. I feel like we've seen these pictures before, but this is the QQT Studio Predaking Devastator Combiner, and they're doing a Devastator and a Predaking at the same time. And it's looking pretty good that you can swap out the parts, which is fine. It's great, and all of that. Am I going to be in on this? I think I will be in on the Predaking, which now it reminds me. Let me go make sure I got that pre-ordered. Alright, so I did go pre-order it. It is available at ShowZ, $1 down. I don't know the total price just yet, but QQT... it's not going to be... It's going to be sub-Legends scale. But I can make this work in my Legends display. And that's all that really matters to me, right? Well, okay. That's all that matters to me. Now, I do feel like we should have gotten this by now. This is Balin Toys, the BL01 Highway Master. And this is via Esprit. Or EG Spirit. But Esprit sounds pretty cool. This is very well painted. And I think this is going to be a pretty premium figure in the Legends scale. I like the way it looks. I'm not going to be all in on the movie stuff either. I can dabble and pick and choose with some of these things, because I'm not a completist at all when it comes to movie stuff. And even with the Beast Wars stuff, I'm not really a completist. Here's the alt mode, and with that, it looks very well painted. I do have to admit, that Hot Wheels Optimus Prime is really well painted too, and that thing is selling for $200 now. This is not in the same ballpark as the Hot Wheels Optimus Prime, but it kind of gives me the same vibes. Alright, now I feel like we've seen these before, but I don't think showing pictures is going to hurt anything. So this is the Dr. Wu E61 Brutality and E62 Slaughter, Slugfest, and Overkill. I think that these look great. Very similar to the vintage style ones, yet modern updates, which is kind of exactly what we need. Remember, these are not the same size as G1 cassettes. These are more for your Hasbro figure. And speaking of cassettes, that's what they look like. So sticking your Hasbro Studio Series kind of figures. But they're fleshing it all out because, get this, if Hasbro made all these for an affordable price, then Dr. Wu wouldn't have a job. Just think about that as we go into talking about Hasbro. Alright, let's see, what's Hasbro been working on these days? Oh, they've been working on this. This is the Transformers Earthspark Optimus Prime battle trailer, and it's an in-hand image. Someone finally got their hands on it, and it's pretty much exactly what we've expected from seeing it around this stuff here. But there's something interesting because I didn't know it lit up. I mean, maybe I saw it, even reported it and said it, but I forgot that it lit up. And that's the thing, making some stuff for kids that's fun to play with and give them some great memories so down the road they keep this whole brand alive, but will it work? So they're talking about a Megatron accessory that's supposedly going to be with a Studio Series 86 Leader Megatron pistol accessory. And it's a rumor, but there's a lot of people talking about this Leader Megatron coming out and how it's going to look very, very much like the original G1 Megatron, and that it is still going to turn into a tank, but it's going to come with the gun accessory, which is so many like different controversies all wrapped up in one. I gotta say that we've got New Age handling business with one that turns into a gun. We've got the little mini gun here that's going to be able to, you're going to hold it in hand, put it in a Starscream's hand, of course, that's what you would do. And then you've got a Megatron that looks just like he turns into a Walther P-38. So the detailing of what's going to happen with this is impressive. It's probably going to be the best Megatron that they've always made, or ever made, and still not going to be perfect. What else has Hasbro working on? The Wild King Wave 2 Energy Beasts in hand. Wave 2? Okay. I didn't quite see Wave 1, but Wave 2's out, so you can do this with it, make them into the bot mode. You can do the Dino mode, and if you're listening here, then you know that there is something else you can do with these that's going to make it even more interesting. If I get the picture, load it up. Then you can do this to your Megatron. No, this is not the Studio Series. No. This is not the Studio Series Megatron that everyone's saying looked very G1. This is the kitty toy one for this, what is it? They call it Wild King Wave 2. Alright, so there's a whole bunch of pictures over on TFW 2005 of this HasLab, and an article written up about this, and I didn't really read the whole thing. I just kind of scanned through to get the gist of it, but it's Reflector at TFW 2005 putting up his thoughts and his picture of this HasLab, the Omega Prime. And he did point out that he somehow he opened up 3, if my understanding is correct, so he had 3 of them, and none of them were broken, and that he did see what the problem was, and his advice was to, well, he performed surgery on his to fix it, but he also said wait for a DNA kit to come out. So there's a picture of this DNA kit, and somehow this is the problem. I do not own this figure. I've not even watched a review of this figure yet, so I've just watched people kind of in live streams or whatever pull it out and handle it and talk about it, or somebody that just came out and made a video talking about the problem with it. But right here, this is what they say the problem is, and this will be the fix. I don't understand why this is the problem. Well, some parts might be too big, and if you make it a little bit smaller, then you won't have the pressure and the cracking, possibly. But that's what I'm understanding. This is the fix. And DNA Designs also making their DK38A upgrade kit, and they're showing the differences between the standard 38, the 38A. The thighs are silver instead of black, which, you know, it is what it is. Whichever color thigh you like the most, get the standard 38 and get the black thighs, or silver thighs and get the 38A. But I do like how the thighs add the extra height, and the figure just looks better. I don't know why Hasbro stuff always just feels a little on the short side, even in their own world and the scale that they put in. But this upgrade kit does look really good. And although the standard one looks great, the upgrade kit looks greater. Okay, so we saw some silhouettes this week. Takara Studio Series figures teased with the 86 Megatron. So, do you see the 86 Megatron there? Looking at the shadow of the Megatron, it looks really good. It looks really... I might have to get one. I'm not buying hardly anything Hasbro, but I might pick one of those up. Also says there's going to be another Starscream silhouette in here. Scavenger, Mixmaster, Elita 1, and of course, you know, the good old Megatron. Also, there's another one that shows Reflector in the mix, and a Thundercracker. I don't think I need to grab that. There's a dramatic capture set coming soon. Alrighty then, we are getting into some non-Transformer news now, and I wanted to jump right into this because last week I was so badly wanting to get in on this whole RoboCop Villains of Old Detroit 1/10 scale. By the way, 1/10 scale is pretty much what NECA and Super 7 do. They're not 6-inch, they're 7-inch, and that's 1/10 scale versus 1/12 scale, in that range. And then within scales, some scale bigger and smaller than others. So until we actually get them in hand, we won't know how well they scale with the NECA RoboCop and then the Mafex RoboCops and all these Hiya Toys making RoboCop. But scale-wise, they should fit NECA fine, in my belief. Now, I did pre-order this. My biggest issue was the fact I didn't want to order from some other country. I didn't want to have to pay $35 shipping. I didn't want to order from a company I just have never really heard of before or dealt with before. And you know who's taking all the risk here? It's BBTS. Now, I'm going to tell you, I've had a few choice words about BBTS. They're still my go-to. The fact that they are taking the risk completely off of you to order this. $45 non-refundable down. If somehow these never show up, they will refund you. That's how these non-refundables work. If it doesn't show up, I mean, sometime in first quarter, I don't think that come January, February, March, April 1st, you call up demanding a refund that they're going to be like, well, I guess we'll refund you. But here's the thing. You get the 5 figures for 60 each is $300. Now, if you order them separately, you can order however many you want of each separately. It's 66 and some change. I ordered the full set for $45. Then I didn't have to pay anything up front to get another Clarence Boddicker or Red Foreman. So I'm really excited for this. And you know, it's kind of a kudos to BBTS for making this happen for all the fans. All right, Tmnt, NECA, Hunter Leo, Old Man Raphael, and Handyman Donatello pre-orders are up at Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, Chosen Prime, Toy Geek. If you're into this kind of, is it Mirage? At this point, I don't even know what you call this stuff. Well, wait, hold on a second. Mirage Comics, yes. It is right. Just have to scroll down a little more, and then I find it right. Anyhow, pretty cool looking stuff. All right, so I don't follow this stuff too super closely. But today, McFarlane Toys held a McFarlane Toys Showcase streaming event where they revealed some upcoming figures across multiple licenses. Batman, animated series, 6-inch scale, Batman, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, the Grey Ghost, and Jonah Hex Build-A-Figure. So, I don't even know which one's which with that. The 7-inch multiverse scale, is that 1/10? Superman movie, Ultraman, Battle Damaged, Kite Man, Dark Archer, and Dark Star. Then there's a Super Friends 6-inch scale, Toyman, Captain Cold, Cheetah. Cheetah is a very expensive figure on the secondary market from back in the Mattel days. I know that because a friend of mine was telling me about it. The Flash and Superman. Then from DC Rebirth, there's a Batmobile, which I gotta look for that picture. Yeah, it's up there on the top. And then Diablo 4 teaser Lilith Elite figure. Then there's the Doom Atlan, Warhammer Lieutenant, Phobos Armor, Angel, Blood Angels, Assault Sergeant, Imperial Fists, Marvel Then there's some statues from Marvel and then Movie Maniacs. But a lot of stuff going on here, and a shark from Jaws. Yes, another cop-out picture here, but this one will be much faster and easier to work through. And I'm not even going to talk about the Fantastic Four stuff. So we're going to move past the Fantastic Four and talk about Gameverse. So there's Wolverine versus Silver Samurai. There's Psylocke versus Thanos. There's War Machine versus Omega Red. There's Captain America versus Venom. And that's going to be June 12th. Gargantos, which is top right there, that green dude. Gargantos, which there's more to all of that I don't know about, but this is a figure people have been wanting. Juggernaut is Mega Deluxe. And then there's a teaser for a green missile-ish thingy. Alright, now we're getting into the Fantastic Four movie stuff, and I truly like the aesthetic and look of the other Fantastic Four figures that they just put out a few years back. And I got all of them on clearance for $8 each. Real proud of myself. Except for one, and so with that, I will be picking that up. So Mr. Fantastic is in this wave. Invisible Woman's in this wave. Johnny Storm off and on. Wait, Johnny Storm off, Human Torch on. Thing is the only one I don't have. And I feel like that would integrate fine with the team that I already have. It'll be fine. Except for the fact it's not going to be in the packaging I like, but whatever. I mean, I'm going to keep it in the packaging anyway. Silver Surfer, which is not any Silver Surfer I remember, but I guess the movie will explain it all to you. But it feels like I just collected all this stuff for $8. Now we got the movie versions. Now I see what it's like to collect Marvel. Alright, so I think that at this point you can pretty much get anything you want through this wave of retro at Amazon right now. So G.I. Joe Classified, been kind of quiet on stuff showing up, but Amazon's got, I think, everything for this wave. But Mindbender, this is an amazing release. Fantastic. Everything you need in here. So I got mine on order at BBTS. I might have to get them from Amazon because they're $1 cheaper. Alright, next up we got Blade up for pre-order right now, BBTS. I went and got mine well, you know what? I was on BBTS and I just happened to be clicking on the main page looking for something completely different. And Blade was there and I was like, I gotta get a Blade. I don't have any version of Blade whatsoever. And let me say this. I'm starting to get a little tired of the Origins stuff. But I truly like classics and many of the Masterverse characters. Not all of them, many of them. This being one of them. This is a very important release, and I anticipate it selling out. Maybe not overnight, but between now and when they arrive, I'm pretty sure they'll sell out. So secure your pre-order. It doesn't cost you anything, BBTS. I get no kickbacks. I just get a good feeling of when 20 or 30 people are like, thanks, Mike, for the heads up. All right, so Mondo is showing off their 1/12 scale version of He-Man. If I got this right, it's the 2000X 1/12 line. No price just yet to be determined. And, you know, if you just kind of step back and say, well, the Ghostbusters were $100. These might be about $102. Maybe that's a good expectation. It's a lot when you've seen all these other options of He-Man coming for much cheaper. This is pretty much the same scale, and it is going to be over $100. So it's a tough sell, but this is also what I think Robo Toys was wanting to make, but Mattel did not approve them, obviously because Mondo got the license, so that's why they can't make it in that scale. This is the 1/6 scale, limited to 1,000, available June 3rd for the order on this for Beastman, so this is a big Beastman coming. I'm not in on these 12-inch ones. They're just too big, too expensive. I don't got the space, plus, I mean, I start thinking, what franchise would I even want 12-inch figures? And maybe Inhumanoids, because but they got to be bigger than 12-inch. Yeah. There's the big monsters and stuff, but I just can't see buying 5.5, buying 6, 7-inch scale ones, and then buying 12-inch scale ones. They look good, though. Mondo does good work. This is a better picture of Mumra. Everly. Alright, so lastly with this, we have more Master Universe stuff. And there's a couple of things. This is Mattel Creations release dates or dates you need to be either in front of your computer or be in front of your computer a month later to order them nowadays. Okay, the first release is slated for June 24th at noon Eastern for the Sharella figure. Then June 27th at noon Eastern for the Origins Fright Zone playset. Now, I'm not sure how the playset's going to go, because it could go either way. Now, that one could sell out. Could possibly sell out. But my expectation is, and here it is. I made a video. I already got all my complaints out there about all the things, but I'll probably order the Sharella figure and the past 2 releases that I missed out on and get it all at once with one shipping. Maybe even the Fright Zone. I don't know what I'm going to do with the Fright Zone, but Mattel Creations, I'm curious how much it's going to cost for the Fright Zone. Then I'm hoping $80, but no more than 100. Yeah, I hope. Hold on, somebody's got an uplifting message about hope on Facebook. Let me read. Hope in one hand and do what in the other? Okay, so if you are still looking for Tigra and Chitara, then you can get them at BBTS. So BBTS has these either pre-order in stock, something on those lines. But I feel like Tiger's gonna sell out eventually. Like, we're in a short, maybe a month or two time frame. Once it sells out, I just don't see them just keep rerunning it over and over and over. But then again, I mean, Super 7's done stuff like that in the past. And if this is going to be an evergreen on the shelf, that's cool. But I really feel like they're moving to the Wave 3. And this is exactly what Brian should have been doing all along with all of his Ultimates lines and getting them out there cheaper, streamline them, and, you know, even make them feel a little cheaper. Who cares? The $20 less, they'll sell a lot faster. And I got to tell you, these show up at stores and go away fast. Alright, so Jada Toys Ultra Street Fighter 2 Vega goes up for pre-order on June 6th. So I'm assuming that means pre-order everywhere, BBTS, Entertainment Earth, and other places that it goes up for pre-order. When's the release date? They're saying, if they don't say the release date, it just says pre-order. And with that, I've already got my pre-order through ShowZ store, and I got mine first before most people in the world. Technically, it was Gundam It. So I'm going to hold with that, but cool looking figure. Really cool. Alright, getting into Star Wars-ish. Now, there's going to be a mix of things here, but I've been sitting on pictures I've taken, very bad pictures I've taken. I thought I had a better one than this, but Star Wars stuff showing up at retail, and there was a end-cap cardboard display. One Walmart that I saw had them, and the next day, all the Rexes sold out. But I do want to say the shiny armor on that guy down there is, it is shiny. I did see a ROM show up. That was impressive to see it at retail. The only one in the wave that sold, but ROM at retail was kind of fun. American Psycho. So here's the thing, like Super 7 having these figures for $20. I mean, these just aren't moving. And I want to say this, though. Spin Masters for $8.99 or $9.99 are going to sell considerably better than what's going on here. Another terrible picture. Sorry about that. Terrible picture. But snap that real quick. Skeleton Crew figures are showing up. And I know a lot of people are like, who cares about Skeleton Crew? But I think they'll actually, in the future, be one of the hardest groupings of figures to get. Because nobody seems to care about the figures. I don't remember seeing them at retail, even when the show was out. And then now they're at Ross, $6. So if I see them at Ross, $6, I'll pick up one set, one of each figure, just for fun. And, you know, May the 4th is over. But the memes never, ever stop. It's kind of funny. Here's your Order 66. Funny, right? We're not allowed to talk about May 4th anymore. We're into June, right? Well, I did score me one of these sets. I'm still looking for a second one for my friend. And it seems like they're showing up at retail just fine. These 6-packs, everybody was all stressing about it. And I was kind of like, yeah, they'll show up at retail. And they are. I got one. And I'll get one more for my buddy and we'll be good. Alright, so now I haven't seen these myself, but so the news on the street this week is that this series of figures should be showing up at retail. It actually did show up at retail. So that's the story hitting in New Zealand. Maybe not even in whatever. It's showing up. And I'm not too excited about it because the new characters do kind of look cool. I might pick up one of them, but as for, I just don't want to keep rebuying Chewie and Han and Luke's over and over and over, even though they do look better. So this is probably the most interesting news out there, and I'm kind of curious what's in this book. It's Back to the Drawing Board, The Art of Kenner Toy Design, and this discusses 70s, 80s, 90s toys and kind of how they were designed. A lot of stuff. This Tim Effler is talking about his experience with Kenner, from Star Wars to $6 Million Man to DC Superpowers, Mask, Silverhawks, Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park, everything else in between. And even stuff that was scrapped, that never ever was even made. Like ideas of toy lines they had, and prototypes, models, abandoned concepts. Really an interesting look here. I wonder if I go over to the Blue Milk shop where you can buy this for $60. If I went over there and I bought one of those, would I be able to do like maybe the top 10 or 20 pages of video showcasing it? Or would there be some issue with that? Because, you know, you want to buy the book to see what's in it. And on the other hand, maybe showing off some cool stuff that's in it. Like, oh, wow, that book is cool. This is a new craze of adult collectors getting these types of books. More for the information and fun and to know what we missed out on. This is a bit of an odd week of news. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. What else is out there that I missed? Because there's always more news. Like and subscribe, and right here, hang around.